guys, welcome to episode 2 of Dash and Holmesy Take Your Hearts. I'm one of your hosts, Dash, along with my co-host. It's Holmes5 himself. Holmesy, how's it going, Holmesy?
Pretty good, man. How are you? How's your...
Yeah.
What day is it today? Say Thursday? Tuesday?
It's
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
How's your Wednesday been?
Yeah, no, good. How about yours, man?
It's been relaxing. I've been playing this game called Persona 5. It's been alright. It's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, how many hours did you knock into it today?
4.5. I've been playing for a while, trying to play catch up, but it's all kind of fresh in my head at the moment, so it's gonna be good to talk about today. I'm keen to vent my pros and cons.
Very good. I'm excited to actually hear them. Obviously, you kind of grinded it today. What else have you been diving into?
Games recently that I've been diving into. Probably the best one is definitely Detroit Become Human.
Fuck yeah.
That game has been a very emotional journey. It's been really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that game.
Awesome. We'll definitely be talking about that sometime in the future. I definitely want to get your thoughts on that one because I did Dash Culture with Buddy a week ago, and we talked about it non-stop and for about a good hour and a half, and we definitely had different stories to share with each other. So I'm definitely keen to actually share them with you pretty soon. And for everybody out there who's seen the promo material that I've been putting up on Twitter for it, it'll be Dash and Holmesy Become Human. So that'll go up later on in the month sometime. But for today, it is Dash and Holmesy Take Your Hearts, guys. So what is it? It is our tri-weekly book club inspired gaming podcast where myself and Holmesy will look into some of the hottest games out right now, like Detroit, but right now today it's Persona 5, where we'll dive right into the game and dissect it and see what Holmesy's up to. Don't forget to follow us on soundcloud.com/dashandholmesy and on iTunes where you can give us a cheeky 5-star rating to help us out, guys. You can also catch us on 8bit.net with our hungry family. Actually, in saying that, Holmesy, we actually have a domain open now, so you can just go straight to dashandholmesy.com. For now it'll take you to the SoundCloud page, but I'm looking to get it nice and fancy, so it'll be all accessible and have everything there.
I think I remember seeing that now. I do remember because I clicked on it. I went to SoundCloud and I was like, "This is pretty convenient. This is a good little look on my link."
Yeah.
This is nice.
So yeah, I'm hoping to get that all set up for us, and so people will just go straight there. You can just go. You can go to dashandholmesy.com, and then it will come up like either SoundCloud or iTunes, and it'll have like our SoundCloud embedded there, so you can just listen to it all just right there. But that'll be down the line, and I'll tell you guys when on a future episode. Now, Holmesy, let's talk Persona 5.
Yes, let's.
Yes. So
I'm going to tell you the date right off the bat, just because I'm going to tell you where I've gotten up to, but we can fill in the gaps.
The blanks, yeah.
The last podcast we finished up, and I just done Kamoshida's Palace, so we just finished things up there. I'm now up to the 14th of May, or 14. It confused me at first because I saw it and I'm just like, now it says like 5-09, and I'm just like, I'm not in September. That's like nearly where like your flashback's happening, but I realized it's like American dates or whatever, so it's the other way around. But now I'm up to the 14th of May, so
that's correct.
Made a bit of progress. I've had. Yes, there's been a few events that have happened in the game so far that are it's been slow, and then it's kind of sped up a bit. We've got a few extra things that popped up, which are some new activities to do throughout your time in the world, which is really good. Yeah,
like I said, once you have passed that hurdle of the first palace, it basically opens up Tokyo to you, and you get to explore it a lot more. And I think it's going to be one of those things where there are things in the game where obviously there's the pros and the cons, and as you said, you got those written down today, which I'm very happy that you do, because it's going to be great to hear them from you as well. So now that you've actually finished up the first mission entirely and have seen the change of heart from Kamoshida, what have you thought? Like, what have you thought thus far of completing a first mission and seeing? Were you expecting more from a change of heart, or was that pretty much what you expected?
Yes, I hadn't actually seen the change of heart until today. So after actually finishing Kamoshida's Palace, I'd done it, but then I sort of stopped there. So to actually see like the side effects of it all and I think we touched on this a little bit last time, but like
Yeah.
you see the themes of obviously in the game, and I guess in real, like anywhere in general, like the topic of suicide is a tough topic, and obviously
Yeah.
not something to be taken lightly. But they touch on it again, talking about, I think is it Suzui?
Yeah.
Who,
Shiho, yeah.
she has Suzui. She nearly
Yep.
nearly takes her life in the game.
Yep.
And then Kamoshida threatens to, or like says he's going to take his own, and
Yeah.
it's like when you see Lady Ann speak up about like you can't escape this by doing that, like it, and then he basically turns himself in next. It's just good to see that like they address that topic again,
Yeah.
like but then obviously like they talk about it as like it's escaping something, like it's
That's right, yeah.
if you're gonna if you have problems, like face them head on. Like suicide is not the way to fix anything. So
Yeah.
it's
It's a definite juxtaposition to what you experienced the first time when they kind of explain suicide in the game when someone tries to take their life because of how they're being treated. And then for the person that had done the wrong and realized they had done wrong, even though it's kind of like being forced in like a fantasy world, I guess, where, there are phantom thieves stealing hearts and all this stuff, but, it comes to fruition to the person that they're doing wrong. In reality, these kind of things happen too. And in the juxtaposition of it all, whether they want to take their lives to escape their fate, which is a cowardly act, it's great the way that they kind of have that juxtaposition in a way in the game. So you get to see both sides of the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
there was another point in the game, I think. It wasn't so much touching on the point at all, but it was just kind of cool to see Anna as well going to see Shio in hospital as well. Like she'd like woken up for a short period to talk as well. So it's kind of cool to see that story resolve, and that she didn't or she wasn't lost, or that we didn't lose a character in the whole thing as well, which is good.
Yeah, no. That was later on. She invited you to go to the hospital with her, I guess it was?
I think I'm trying to recall whether she invites now, or whether that might be something I've not gotten to yet. But I do know that she says she goes and visits.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, you're correct. Yeah, sorry, that was me.
We're on the rooftop.
Yeah,
no, that's right. Yeah, it's we're on the rooftop, and then she comes back and talks about like going to visit and being able to speak to her for a brief moment. So so it's nice to see that small little kind of story between like those two characters resolve itself, which is good.
So, have you been now that you're kind of free to explore Tokyo a little bit? Have you been invited out by Ann or Ryuji to go different places and all this other stuff yet?
I have, and I've actually finally discovered. I don't know whether I've just missed this or if the game didn't tell me about this during like the initial kind of navigation and map kind of stuff. But I've now realized that you can skip traveling entirely from like place to place. Like you can, instead of going through the train lines and figuring out where to get like one train from another, you can literally just like open your map and then skip to like the destinations and fast travel to those, which is really handy. But, I went and had which has actually put me in the mood for it right now, but I can't go and get it. I went and had ramen with Ryuji. I've done that several times just to kind of strengthen my relationship with him and improve like the level of my confidence and all that, which is good. And then I think after we defeated Kamoshida and we had that medal, we've sold that on and then used that money to go and have like that there's like that big fancy buffet that we got to have a bit later on as well. And then kind of listening in, like there's all these high rollers talking about like the phantom thieves and like the side effects and like what's happened to Kamoshida and all this kind of stuff, and just them giving thoughts on I guess like the whole thing, and then scoffing at these kids eating in this fancy restaurant. It's just a strange but like a cool sort of interaction to see, like them talking about and like seeing how much this Phantom Thieves thing has affected the world around them, not just like in the high school that they go to.
Yeah, so that was actually pretty. Like I love that part actually, because it actually shows a little bit more of a human side to these kids. Like obviously that they don't like understand like. The moments where you get in front of that elevator with that guy that comes across and, it's just like,
the bald guy?
You don't belong here. You're only school kids and all this other stuff. So it kind of sets you back into reality, that the fact that you're school kids, you know what I mean? And, that in their heads right now that they're they're these big heroes and they're doing the right thing and all this other stuff. But the fact was that in reality, they're just school kids. You know what I mean? So it's really good. I like that kind of that's another and the word juxtaposition comes up a lot because it really is that real sudden turn that you're realizing that these phantom thieves are masked perfectly in reality, that nobody would suspect that these school kids are the ones that are going to be these everyday heroes, which is really cool.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask? I'm losing it here. What was how did you find? So have you actually started Mementos?
I have. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've gone through and done 2 of them, and I'm actually really happy to see obviously there's a good balance, so like there's a good level of I guess including this in any kind of game. But I'm really glad to see now some form of grind that's in the game that you can do instead of just like going through the story, because I feel like there's been I think Mementos would have been really cool for them to introduce, although I know why the space is in here, so I'll explain why it's not there. But
No, please do.
When you defeat Kamoshida, but then you have to kill time between waiting for for him to come and confess and your expulsion and all that. It would have been cool for Mementos to be introduced there. Like if you automatically, like say you finish things ahead of time, that you can do Mementos while you're killing time to see what Kamoshida does.
Yeah.
But I know that time is in there for when you play the game on hard, so you've got more time to complete the mission. So like that's fair enough. I definitely get that. But it's nice to be. It's really cool to have like another purpose for that. Like your rooftop hideout too. Like that's where you go to talk about Mementos, investigate what's on the fan site, which I love. I think the fan site's a really cool addition, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to have a grind, a place to collect stuff and explore, and it's always evolving and changing as you go further down and every time you revisit.
So I will say that now that you have Mementos open, and that you have passed that hurdle of Kamoshida's palace, you can actually grind. So the thing is, you will stumble across these things where you will have days in between if you are still, like if you defeat the next boss in their palace, and you have those days, you can actually now grind Mementos while doing these days, like waiting for these days to count down. But the thing is, once you unlock new confidants with more Arcanas, you'll be able to help them out and unlock more powers while you're in the metaverse in these palaces. So, as I said, that Kamoshida part was really a hurdle to pass, and it was something that I believe. And you're right. I think it's something that's a blockade in a way for a lot of the experience that you're actually going to experience now in the game, because a lot of it's just now it's been opened up to you. And I think
we can go out at night now and stuff too. Like I like the now that it's not so linear and closed off. Like go to school, go back home, go to school, go back home. Now it's like, hey, you can go out at night. Now you can check out the Mementos. Now I can literally explore everywhere and anywhere I want to now, which is a lot more. I say it's a lot more free, which is I think it's nice to finally have that freedom to explore where I want.
Yeah. So so from that, basically what you got to what they're trying to tell you is that once you go live with Sojiro, you're essentially imprisoned in that cafe because you're under his guidance, under his he's your guardian, and he needs to basically protect himself before he protects you. But as he's saying, like he says, you're just here because I'm taking care of you right now, and then after the year you're out. But as your Arcana and as he becomes your Confidant and his Arcana grows, his feelings kind of start growing neutral towards you, so that things like going out at night and everything like that would unlock. And it's like having a relationship with another person, essentially, in a way that the more it grows and the more you try to grow it with the person, he starts to relax on you, and they work that through your Arcana relationship with him as well. So like once you develop that Arcana with him and you grow it with him, your bond grows too.
Yeah, and I noticed some of that with the dialogue that he gives you as well. Like I've seen like the way that he speaks to you changes. Like there's the defaults every time. Like if you come home at night, like you can either choose to sit in a booth and study, or you can go and if it's available, you can make coffee and learn about the restaurant with Sojiro.
Yeah.
But as your relationship with him grows or like strengthens, you see his dialogue change each time you do it. Like once you've reached a new level, he starts talking to you differently. And then there's even a particular point where he actually says like, oh, you know, I can't believe that this is, I can't believe the person's, when you make coffee with him and you're standing on the other side and he's trying the coffee that you've made and he says you look like a real barista or so, like stuff like that. And that he's, you know, you'll gain respect for being able to make a good coffee and, you know, in this day and age. And then he says something about that he can't believe, I can't remember the exact words, but he can't believe that this, like the boy standing in front of him is like a respected student, and he can't believe that he's like someone that's created mischief and not like a respected student or like a good person kind of thing. But, I mean, little does he know, I guess, like we're there because of a court case or a lawsuit kind of thing. But I mean, he's obviously not done anything wrong, which is great. So I think I feel like in the long run he's going to discover that. But that's I'm sure that's a lot later in the game. Yeah.
Have you met any new characters yet?
Actually, I was gonna bring that up. I've got that actually set up as like a small thing. So I haven't in a way. But like this is like I like what they've done in the game so far with like small setups for. There's like little setups for future events or things that are going to come up. But on the topic of new characters, it's not really a new character, but in this timeline so far it is. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but Say or Sae, the woman that's interviewing you. The lady that's in. Oh, the doctor I've befriended as well. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, sorry, that's Ty. I'm thinking of Say Nijima.
Yeah, the one. I mean, the one that's interviewing you, and technically, end game when you've like you're having the flashbacks. Like she's interviewing me, but also like she's actually just come into Sujiro's cafe. So I've actually just had her like it was a brief interaction. Obviously, very different tone and because she doesn't. There's nothing that she knows right now. She's just walking around. But I saw her come in and I was just like, oh, what the fuck? Why are you here? So that was interesting to see. But yeah, I've also created a relationship with the doctor. We like drank the lady that does. I can't remember her name now. There's a couple of characters.
Tai Takemi is the doctor.
Yeah,
so she's.
I thought she might have had like a persona. I thought she might have been a character we could tag in and out. But she's just obviously there's just that relationship there with medicine and all that, which is really cool. So you can get like special stuff from her, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so her Arcana name, I believe, is Death. She's got the Death Arcana on her. So
that's right. Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting one for you to work through. And here's the thing: like, not everybody not everybody in the game you'll click with, and there are some that you will want to work with, and there are some that you won't want to work with. Like personally, for me, there are like 2 or 3. I'm doing a third playthrough of it at the moment, so I can follow along with you. And I know I've done 205 hours today on one file. So I'm trying to I'm just playing along with you, but as I'm playing, this is probably the most deepest playthrough I've ever done. Only so that like when we do the podcast, I can understand where you're up to and everything. So I'm a little further ahead. But the thing is, I've got a few confidants that I have unlocked. But I just don't click with them personally, like as in myself. I don't find them interesting as characters enough to actually click with. You might actually click with them and you might find them interesting. It's just and that's the thing. Like this is what makes it great is that as you go through the game and you meet these people, these confidants, it's either you click with them or you don't. But if you click with them, you actually gain more powers in the metaverse. They unlock their arcanas help you unlock more powers in the metaverse for you to actually continue, and more items and everything else, which is great. So it's like personal preference. You can do it with everybody if you want. The thing is going to take more hours, but if you don't and you just want to breeze it through and have like a few confidants that you actually just want to be with, then that's fine too. It's personal preference, which makes it great because it's it's essentially choose your own path in that way too.
I like that too, that you have the choice, because I've actually got that here as another point that I wrote down just during my playthrough as well. Like I feel it's one thing I feel like they've added too much at times is like there's so many different things to manage, or like so many different things to take care of. Like there's all these little reminders as you come up with like about daily life, and like make sure that you do these things and like check up on this, that, and the other. Like it's sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed with how many different stats and levels and things there are to kind of work on and grind on. So I like that the stuff that they give you is also optional.
Yeah.
Particularly like the confidants, because I feel like there's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's really the one thing I found really slow to make progress on though, and I've literally only just leveled it up, is like your personality or your personal traits, like learning and confidence and guts and all this stuff. Like I feel like I've studied a million times, like so much, and I've only just gone from from I can't remember what the level 1 thing was, but I've only just become learned in the game. I've only gone to level 2 in that, and I feel like it took forever to get there. It's like there's 5 different like star points to work on, and it's a very slow grind in some regards, I guess. So I'm going to try and not focus on it anymore and just focus on making like story progress and grinding up experience elsewhere.
Well, the thing is, the more that you make, the more points that you make on those, the more story progress you make too, in terms of your confidants, because you'll be able to unlock more paths with your confidants after as well.
Yeah, I have seen that too. Like I talked to the gun shop owner, who like he gives you that paper bag, that he says like not to look in it and bring it back, and he'll talk about it more later.
Did you look in
like
it?
My option. Hey, no, I didn't look. Well, actually, no, I did in the end. Sorry, I did, because I think I chose one of the dialogues to like have a little peek inside, and we realized it was a gun or whatever. So like that was like it was a nice gun, like a good model or whatever. So we went back, and like one of the options when you return, because I needed to buy new gear anyway, was question him about what was in the bag and all this kind of stuff, but I couldn't do it because I needed more I think charisma or something along those lines. I needed more confidence to talk to him about it and like challenge him about what was in it. And so I literally, the only option was when I went back was to talk to him and buy or sell stuff.
So obviously the gun itself is something that you'll bring with you into the metaverse later on, because if they see that as a threat, then yada yada yada. It's basically one of those things where they mentioned in the first palace that if they believe it's a threat, then it's a threat to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. What I was going to say though was you're grinding Mementos. How far did you make it down to the first level? How far down have you made it into Mementos?
I'm on the. So I've done 2 Mementos. I'm down to like the 3rd level.
Okay.
Is
the third level in the first part of it, or like there's have you made it to the door at the bottom?
Like you mean you go into like the train, you go into the Mementos, and then there's the train tracks and they wind around, and then you find a platform, and then are you talking about the next level down where you get to a platform and then go down another level?
No, see, okay, so you haven't made it all the way down the first part of it. Okay, so what it is basically in Mementos, there are different levels in each one. So basically, there's a platform, there's a train platform, and every time, so you'll obviously run into shadows on the way. Which this is the XP farm that I was talking to you about last time that you will run into, basically the grind. And so when you hit those platforms, essentially you run down, like it'll go beep, and then it'll go down to the next level, right? And then, so you go down level 2, level 3. Have you made it down to a level where it's just you're in a middle platform, and right at the end there's a door?
Oh yeah, so I have done that. There's like the door, like the center kind of like diamond piece slides up, and then like the 4 corners fold away. Yeah, I've done that. Yeah, so I've gone down to the second one of those. I'm pretty sure. Okay,
so you're in the second part of Mementos. All right, cool.
Yeah, because I've done 2 Mementos challenges, or like I've defeated 2 like small, I guess like people in the public sort of thing. So I've done 2 of those, and I've gotten some experience from that. Nice. Also, just to back up our point from the last podcast we did, the last episode, I put the game on easy. I was
about to ask you that.
Restart the battle. So I'm so happy about that. Holy shit! I feel like that should just be a stock standard.
Making it easier for you. Do you find it? Are you finding now that you've done that? Are you finding the game also a lot more interesting to play on with as well?
First of all, I found I save less now, because it's just like, if I lose, I can restart. Like, that's fine. So I don't lose any progress now. Yeah. My only fear now, though, is that I get into a fight that I can't defeat. In that case, I'll be like kind of screwed. But yeah, I lost one of the fights. It's like down in the Mementos too, and it was one of the like the small, kind of like the slime looking guys, and one of them just self-destructed, and it blew up my whole team because there was 5 of them. And so because I knew what their weakness was off the bat the second time, I went back and just knocked them all out and didn't all out and won the fight, like clean and simple in the start. But it's I find now that when I go places, I'm a lot less paranoid about saving or like getting stuck in a place. So it's good. I like the option of being able to restart the fight or restart just before the fight and not have the only option be like, well, go back to where you last saved, because I didn't save until I stopped playing today.
Nice. I was going to say also, are you finding it that in these battles now with the option to restart? Actually, what I should tell you is that make sure that when you are fighting in the palaces, and you even in Mementos, and you run into new bosses, new enemies, I should say, that are basically personas in themselves. Make sure that you always look into making them weak, shoot them down to actually steal their masks, because when you steal their masks, that's essentially a new persona that you can use. And in saying that, you'll be able to upgrade your level as well. So like you just said that you were worried about not being able to beat these bosses. Grinding in Mementos and actually stealing masks and everything else will actually make sure that you don't run into that situation. Because if you level up and use your main character, which is, of course, let's remind everybody, Weeaboo Senpai is the name of your main character.
Best name,
because he's the only one who can use multiple personas, right? But the thing is, as you keep going throughout the game, you'll level up with each character, which is good, and you'll be able to upgrade your power with each character. And their personas will also upgrade a level. But I think the one thing that, if you don't want to run into that kind of situation, make sure that you're stealing masks as much as you can. But I don't think you need to sweat too much on the fact that you get stuck in a battle too much. I don't think that really happens. There's always a weakness that will present itself in a persona. Sometimes it'll take a little bit to grind to find that weakness. In an enemy.
Like I'll do things like shoot, like I'll choose, like if I get a fight and I know what their weakness is, obviously I use that straight away. But like a lot of the time, if I have the ammo and I know I can go back, I'll lead with a gun attack and just shoot one bullet at each different enemy just to see if any of them are weak to a gunshot. And then if they are, then I just, if it's 4 of the same enemy, for example, like you can just go like bang, 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 like one shot on each of them, and then it's just all out attack and you're done. Like there's little strats like that. It's just super easy to kind of do, but I've not gotten to a point where I'm going to get stuck in a fight, but it's good to know that there's enough in there that you're not going to have that issue happen. So that's good.
No, you should be fine. How many deaths would you say you've had so far?
2 or 3, I think.
2 or 3, yeah. That's not bad.
I think this because I had the one where I got salty on stream and I had to go back. Like that happened. I think that was my first one. Like that happened, and I think it was my first.
Yeah. No, that's all right.
It might have been my first, and then I had another one off stream, and then one today. So I think it's 3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But I wasn't salty when I lost this time. It was good.
So that's how many. So you've only met. So you're saying you've only met like 3 confidants outside of the party that you've got, the Phantom Thieves, so far?
Is there any more? I think there's. How many do I have now? Because there's.
You got the doctor. You said. You've got
and Sajiro.
Yep.
The gun shop owner.
Yep.
I
don't even know what his is. Hold on a second. I don't even know what his Arcana is. I'll be able to look that up quickly. Go on. Who else have you thought of?
I think that might actually be it. Yeah, I think it might just be the 6. Although, sorry, the 7, because obviously there's the 6 because my cell phone count. Okay. So yeah, the 3 in my team and then 3 outside. I think that's all I have so far. Oh, and I can't. I just saw his name before. I can't remember it now. The guy that you revisit with the 2, like the good cop, bad cop. The guy that's telling you about like your rehabilitation and like training you up and getting you ready. Igor, Igor's my 7th.
Yeah,
you have a confidant with him as well.
I think he's the full Arcana. Yeah, he's the full Arcana. I can't remember what the gun shop owner's Arcana is, but anyway, that's all right. Then that's pretty cool. So you've got about a good 8 or 9 Arcanas helping you out there, which is good. It depends, as I said, once again, whether you want to build those relationships to a full.
I've noticed I get more experience now, which is good. Like having some of the ones that I've raised up have gotten me more EXP depending on how I fight, which is good. So
yeah, you said you had a list of pros and cons. You want to elaborate?
I mean, I've kind of gone through some of them in passing. Like I've just mentioned before, the daily life tasks are just a little bit sometimes just too much or a bit redundant, and it just kind of makes the game feel like a bit of a drag when it's just like there's a
Like what?
reminder where I am at right now, which is just one of my goals is live life as a normal student, or like be a model student, or like just like there's just these like mundane, boring like listed tasks in the game, and it's just like that's not.
Yeah.
It's not something that like that's gonna make me want to play a game. Is like be reminded, like be normal.
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent of like loading up GTA 5 and being like, make sure you follow those fucking red lights.
Yeah.
Like
so
driving. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so once again, I'll mention that it's part of that hurdle, I guess, until you start the next palace. And I agree with you in a way, because I think that Kamoshida's palace should have been that hurdle that you pass and completely open up that whole world of Tokyo, which you kind of have.
Yeah.
I mean, you've opened it up.
I have
probably
now, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. But there is still those hurdles. So, like, it's telling you live life like a normal high school student for now, because what it is that you've done the first palace and you've had that moment where you've gone to eat dinner at the place, basically, where you just said that you've had that buffet, and what right there you've just agreed to become phantom thieves there. That's the thing. So you really have just stumbled across this metaverse where you can change hearts and everything, and you guys really didn't understand what was happening until you changed Kamoshida's heart. And then in that meeting that you had at the buffet, that's where you basically decided that you were going to become, the anti-heroes. And so, or the everyday heroes, I guess. So that's where it's now leading to, where basically, the thing where it's saying just live life like a normal student. What you're going to find is now, once you get to that next palace, it's not going to be live life like a normal student. There's going to be like 6 or 7 tasks that you need to do outside of school. And whether you want to build your Arcanas, build your Confidants, or meet new characters to, help you out with your stats or whatever, because obviously you get those 5 stats in that star that comes up, which is guts, knowledge. I'm losing my memory here. Guts, knowledge. Proficiency, and another 2. So each Arcana and each interaction with each character that you get, each confidant that you get, will build those things, plus just normal everyday life situations. You can take a bath that'll help your guts, apparently. You can go to the baseball field to help your proficiency. Studying helps your knowledge.
I've done that. I did do that, like doing I didn't get it at first. Like, it was just like, line up the bat for where you think the ball's gonna go, and I was just like, okay. And then I missed like 4 out of the 5 shots and got the last one, but I didn't get the baseball thing. But I really want to go back and do it so I can get the award or whatever it is for like getting 5 in a row or hitting a home run. Yeah.
So doing those kind of things, they will actually unlock in boss battles, help you unlock things easier, like weaknesses and defense mechanisms. So like, if your proficiency is like at max, you'll be able to hit things more precisely and easier. So you'll be able to get attacks in and it won't miss. So if your proficiency is at a low and you're trying to throw an attack and it's missing on a certain enemy, if you grow your proficiency, your attack will actually hit that enemy later on.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are different. Cool. There are simple things like that. I guess they're not really simple, but they're also, kind of simple, I guess, in a way. But there are things like that you'll actually learn to grow on as you go throughout the game, and you'll notice the changes as well in the story and everything when you grow those, stats and meet new arcanas and all this other stuff. Once again, that's what leads to a choose your own path kind of deal with the story so far. So
actually. Yeah, I actually kind of like that too. Like my favorite part in the game so far, or my favorite thing to work on so far, has been the character bonds and like the relationship that you grow with them. Like particularly for Ryuji, like I like some of the stuff with him. Like you get different responses that you can give him. Like for example, like people from his old track team coming up and like bullying him, and like you can. Like, there's clearly different options there for, like, fight back or say nothing or, like, be reasonable. It's like, it gives you very clear options about, at least for most people, it should be clear options about what the right thing is to do. Yeah. And I think it just kind of reinforces, like, this is what you should do in the real world. And obviously you get rewarded for picking the right options in the game, or, like, the most logical ones. But I think it's cool that they kind of incorporate, like, grinding and growing your characters in the game, but also, like, teaching just not so much teaching like lessons, but like reinforcing like the right thing to do as a person in general. I think it's kind of cool how they've incorporated that into the game.
Yeah. We discussed this last time, but I'm going to ask you pretty much every episode. Has your favorite character of the game changed at all, or is it still Sojiro?
Yeah, it is still Sojiro. He's I just kind of like the vibe that he has, and I like you know what, I know we're not talking about that game, but I'm just gonna use it as a comparison. It's sort of and you can see these characters on like the cover of the game or like in advertising material. So for anybody who hasn't played Detroit Become Human, I'm not spoiling anything for you. But or if you think that I might be spoiling something, then just mute the podcast for 10 seconds. I like it kind of reminds me of the relationship between Connor and Hank.
Yep.
In that like Hank is like the Sujiro and Connor is Weeaboo Senpai. But I like that you're kind of like I don't know, he's just like an angry dad, like not like an angry dad, but like he's kind of like sort of keeps to himself, tells you what to do. Like you don't really get much from him, and then as he kind of grows or like warms to you, you get more out of him, and he sort of like he becomes your friend. Yeah. Potentially if you do the right thing. But I really like the character development or the relationship that you can change between your character and his. Yeah. So I guess in a way, your own character, like the character I'm playing and his character are my favorites, but I do like working on the relationship I have with him in the game. I think that's my most favorite part, or my most favorite character in the game. Yeah. Who's
been your favorite character to use?
Probably still like I love Weeaboo's character, Senpai's character, Weeaboo Senpai. Only for I think it's Arsene, his main persona, like is my favorite still anyway. So I love that. But I think Ryuji, because Ryuji's the tank in the game, and I feel like he's my saving grace for a lot of fights a lot of the time. Yeah. Because he has like Dia to heal, but he packs a punch, and he's got a variety of different elemental attacks. Yep. I feel like he's been given a lot of power in the game. Yep. Either that, or I've just been focusing on his growth the most. But he's got such a broad range of ways to attack the enemy, and like all of his attacks do like a huge amount of damage. I actually noticed going to the gun shop now that like I've upgraded, because I had enough yen to upgrade every single character's guns, armor, accessories, and what was the other thing? Oh, and then melee weapons. Like I literally upgraded everyone's shit all in the same go. Oh, right. And like seeing all my stats just jump up so far was really good. But no, Ryuji is still by far the most powerful in terms of like just all that attack damage. So awesome. Yeah, he's my favorite to play, I think. So,
oh god. So the one thing I got to ask as well is the style of the game as well. Have you kind of because we were discussing, I was discussing this when we were watching you on stream with Moggleberries on Twitter. For anybody out there, the art style of the game is very mysterious, I guess, and essentially also has a few questionable enemies and design and everything as well. Obviously, left you in shock when you first discovered the penis monster.
Yep, a little bit.
So in terms of that, I mean, like there are different things within the game. Have you found the art style of the game to throw you off a little bit in terms of what you usually play or anything like that, or?
I haven't really warmed to it as much as I would with most other games. I like the anime, like the actual cartoon cutscenes. Like I really like those when they come up. Like it's cool, and I think if they made a Persona, I mean, like if they made the game literally like break it down into like a full like anime series, like maybe
which
like
they are, but
which I think if they is it going to be basically the game? Is that what it is?
It is. So like they're up to episode 5 in Japan so far, and it's basically an adaptation of the game's main story. However, it's kind of, I don't think I've actually brought this up yet, not even on Dash Culture, so I'll bring it up here anyway. So what it is basically they've kind of taken the main elements of the game and turned it into the main series, but scrapped out some of the useless stuff. However, some of the useless stuff that they've scrapped out, and I put in quotations useless, is actually kind of vital to the story as well. So a lot of the stuff that you would have seen in the first palace of the game, I understand that they're trying to kind of water it down a bit from like a 10-hour experience to a half an hour episode. But the problem is having that same experience that you would have like emotionally and like an impactful experience to watching the anime might come into question of how well they're actually doing the anime at the moment. And a lot of people are questioning it too because I think it's A1 Studios and Aniplex who are doing it at the moment. There's a lot of questionable decisions being made by the studio right now doing it because of their art style, and it seemed very rushed. And I personally think that it's kind of half and half for me. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not really at the same time. And I personally prefer the cutscenes, the way they're being animated in the game, than the actual anime series right now. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's affecting. Look, basically, what's happening is that the anime is actually affecting my experience watching the program because it's just the quality of it's just kind of subpar. It's not the best animated anime series that I've seen. So, yeah, I don't know. If anything, I'm glad that you're actually playing the game and not watching the series because I think you would basically be turned off from actually playing the game if you watched the anime first. So
yeah, okay, no, that's reassuring at least to know the game is a better experience than the show. Obviously, I'll probably still take a look at it at some point, but
why not
finish the game before I
yeah, no, definitely. Hey, also another thing in terms of its aesthetics, I remember we talked about this, the music. You said that you weren't you really
still don't like it.
You don't like the music?
Nah,
you haven't heard much of it yet,
though. I've heard, I mean, I haven't heard much of it, but for 15 hours, 16 hours total of gameplay to hear the same songs on repeat every time, like over and over again, I'm pretty done with it now. Even though now that I've like finally, as soon as you get the achievement for like completing the palace, because you don't technically complete, quote unquote, in game the palace until you actually have Kamoshida confess. Well, as soon as he confesses, that's when I got the trophy. As soon as that happened, then I noticed there was the same music, but now it has lyrics over it, like it's actually got singing. For a couple of instances, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is new." But I'm still sick of this tune. So the music's not. I'm pretty over that. And you know what? I am disappointed about. I wanted to add my own music, but I couldn't turn the music off in the game. So I went to do it. I went through the menus. I looked at customization options. There's nothing in there to turn off in-game music. So I'm a little. It was either turn everything off or nothing. So
I'm surprised you actually don't like the music. I mean, I understand that you hear the music over and over and everything. But was it the music with the lyrics? I'm trying to think. Are you talking about when you went back into the palace to defeat Kamoshida?
No, I was in the train station or something, and there was it was the same kind of sort of like lobby music that plays in the city, like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was like that, but then there was some lady singing at the top of it, being like a shapeshifter and having like a mask and stuff. The lyrics were relevant to the game, but I'm still sitting here like this fucking tune, man. Stop.
I understand.
I don't know. I still can't get past it. Like I still remember playing it the first time on stream, and you and Mogs were like talking about the music and like, do you like it? Like, is it good? And I'm like, yeah, actually like the music. That was maybe the first 4 hours. I'm now 12 hours past that, and I'm just
no, I understand. No, I understand that completely. It does become a little bit right. The thing is though, you've actually heard one of the main boss tunes of the series of the game. Actually, I should say the series of the game, which is Life Will Change, which is when they go into battle Kamoshida the first time. So like when you get the final, like you've basically sent out the calling card, and then you head back into the palace.
And you fight the big toilet man.
Yeah. I think you would have heard Life Will Change. I think maybe the instrumental when you go back in, and it's really when the guitar, starts up, the electric guitar starts up, and everything.
Yeah,
else,
so that was fine because that was new as well. Like
So you'll hear different versions of that as you go through the game as well, and then you'll hear like each boss will have its own music as well to go with it as well, and each palace will have its own music to go with it as well. So you won't hear the same thing as the first palace, which is good. The mainstays are basically the ones that you were talking about. That track that you're talking about is called Beneath the Mask. It's the one. Mm-hmm. It's the main theme of the cafe mainly, and sometimes outside of the cafe too, depending on where you are in Tokyo.
I've noticed
but
that. Yeah, just like the repeat spaces. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised you actually don't like the music. I'm a little bit like, wow, okay. But no, look, I understand. It can't, like, music like that can, when it drags on, and especially for the amount of hours that you're actually playing the game, yes, it can actually become a little bit too much.
I did enjoy it in the start, but I think like because I feel like it loops so frequently and it's so much of the same. Like whenever I'm in these spaces and I hear that music, I attribute it to being in an elevator, which I think is why it's made some of this so like it's made the game feel so long or grindy or at times boring. Because it's just like, this is like standing in an elevator. Like, I'm sick of doing this. Like, can we just get to something different? Like, I don't know, the music for me at least hasn't changed too much. That might be, I don't know, if you're on the podcast and if you're listening on SoundCloud, put a comment down the bottom. What do you think about the music in the game?
Man, I own the vinyl, all right? So
yeah,
that's my opinion.
I will not be buying the vinyl.
That's fair enough. But, no, I don't blame you at all.
Obviously, it's subjective, so like I don't want people to. I'm sure there's other people out there who dislike it as much as me, but I'm sure there's a lot more people that enjoy the music too.
I think from the tracks that you've heard so far, I think like I understand why you're kind of sick of it so far, but I think there'll be music in it that you'll really like later down the line. Like, honestly, it's just going to be one of those things where I know what kind of music you like, and you're a bit of a fucking metalhead. A little bit. Oh, you should see my iTunes, man. You should see the variety I got. True. Lately, in the recent years, you've kind of changed your music, I guess. Yeah.
Lately I've been listening to more like chill step stuff, I guess. But yeah, I suppose like there's a type of music, I guess, that I do listen to more often than others. So I understand where you're. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You'll run into that kind of music later down the line, I think, which will be something that you'll appreciate. It's not really like the hardcore metal shit, the screamy shit that you usually listen to.
No,
but it's some nice heavy rock that I think that you'll really, really dig. But that's later down the line in the game. One other question I've got for you. Have you met the next boss yet? Like, have you actually met who's your next target?
Think so, and I'm gonna preface the rest of the podcasts like in the future now by saying I'm gonna forget characters' names because they're all Japanese, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, but I can't remember people's names in this game. Yeah, because they're all different. So I've just bumped into Yasuki. I do remember the weird dude that does like the
Yasuki. Suzuki.
I know. Suzuki. I've just run into a Suzuki Swift, and I'm filing for hit and run. Yeah. The guys. I bumped into him, and then I can't remember the guy's name, but the old guy that's the famous artist in the car.
So his name is Madarame.
That one, yeah. I've bumped into him, who I assume is the next one because his name has come up previously. Before we've bumped into him, but other not confidants, other I think it's come up through other mementos possibly, or like other people talking about him, and he's been a frequent his name has been dropped a lot, but it's been dropped enough that I get the hint that he is going to be the next big boy that we have to fight. And he's also he's a famous artist, and he's a high profile character. Yeah. And all these small characters or small people that we're trying to change hearts with are leading to this big one, which is essentially the goal for the team, or like for the Phantom Thieves. So I'm pretty sure he's the next big boy, right?
You're gonna have to find out. You're gonna have to keep playing. What was I gonna say? Where'd you hear his name before?
I'm pretty sure there was I think it might have been the first Mementos that I fought. I'm pretty sure it was him or someone somewhere in the game mentions like his boss like treating him like crap, or like giving him like a hard time, or like it's because of this person above me that I'm doing this to people below me kind of thing. And it was I'm pretty sure his name came up somewhere prior to this, and then all of a sudden like Yasuke has come up, and
Suzuki's come up.
Suzuki, so all of a sudden Suzuki's come up and talking about this other guy, and then like, even the characters have said, like, even like our team has said, like, this name sounds really familiar. Where have we heard this before? Yeah. So he's coming up with a few people's vocab lately. Also, can I just say, Morgana turning into a bus is fucking dumb, man. What the hell?
I was actually going to ask you that. Yeah.
I walked off and made a cup of tea when that happened. I'm just like, I put my controller down and just like, all right, I'm fucking done right now. And I had a cup of tea, sat down, listened to some music, and chilled out for 20 minutes, and I came back and dealt with that. Who approved that to be in the game? You idiot! God damn. I thought there was going to be something like, oh, now that it's that time, let's ride on the back of our fucking personas because Arsene has wings. And the other dude's got wings. One dude's in a fucking pirate ship that flies. And the other one's got like some dress she's going to obviously maybe just have to run around. Maybe she could fly. But like they're all floating. I thought we were going to ride them around. Not like have the cat turn into a bus that's meant to be a person in the first place.
Okay, so later down in the line in the game, in another palace, there'll be a reason for it, and you'll understand why. Can't tell you yet because that's spoilers, but you'll understand why.
Okay,
but now you're on the right path. Madarame was actually mentioned by that guy. It was the first request, so you're on a very hot path. So don't worry. No, that's all good. What I was going to ask you as well. I forgot to ask you while you were talking about the buffet. What did you name your group?
I just left it the same. Didn't have a creative. I sat there for a couple of minutes. I'm just like, come on, think of something creative. And then I couldn't. I didn't have a creative name to think of. So I'm just like, just the Phantoms. Fuck it. Just the Phantoms.
Yeah. Well, it fits the game, I guess, because, every time they oh my God. So there was a YouTube highlight video that I found a couple of weeks ago by a YouTuber who was playing the series. And he named his group Arse Eaters.
I should have done that. Damn it. Yeah.
So every time a dialogue comes up and it says the Phantom Thieves, it actually comes up Arse Eaters. And there was a really silly dialogue that came up during the game where it just fit perfectly. You want to take a piece of this, Arse Eaters? And it's just like, oh my God. Yeah, so
I'm really disappointed now.
I was like, man, for sure. And I was watching this, and I'm thinking to myself, man, for sure, Holmes is going to pick one of the most ridiculous names. But I guess he went with the preset.
I think it was. Oh man, I just had a mental blank. I just sat there for a bit. I'm just like, I can't think of anything. What am I going to do? Fuck it. And I just pushed options and made it that. So it's all right. So, if I get another opportunity to name anything, I'll make it something better.
All right, so let me just clarify quickly. So the point that you're up to mainly in the main story is that you've just bumped into Yusuke and Madarame.
Yeah, so I'm about to go to
Yusuke's house.
That's like an art exhibition they keep talking about. So we're going to go like...
Oh, you're going to an art exhibition? Yeah. You got invited to the art exhibition. We got a ticket for that. Yeah.
And yeah, so like they're all going to that together. So we're going to go and do that. And they've just talked about like, oh, it's so grown up going to an art exhibition. So they're going to do that. I think like that's the next thing as well. But
yeah. That's again, that's where the juxtaposition comes back in. You're high school students. That's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, no, that's awesome. So, that's it then, I guess. That's how far you've made it so far.
That's it. Yeah, so we made a bit of progress. I feel like I've not gotten as far as like the initial start of the game, but we've added a fair bit of game time onto it. So,
well, obviously with Detroit out, you had to kind of play Detroit.
Yeah, which I'm very keen to talk about that game as well. That's
definitely me too.
That's definitely going to be a game. Only good things to say about that game.
Oh yeah, no, me too. Definitely a fantastic game that was, and we'll definitely touch on that sometime soon with Dash and Holmesy Become Human, which will be a nice special for us to do and talk about that game. And I think you're currently trophy grinding it on Twitch.
Yes, yeah, I'm on my way. I think there's another 16 trophies I think I need to get, but they're all story based. Like they'll be quick to get. They're just like, it's pretty much I just need to play through the game a second time.
Yeah.
And do the opposite of like the big outcomes for each chapter. So like I've done most of those now. Like the rest of them are it's literally play through the game one more time.
Yeah.
And then go back and do a couple of things slightly differently to trigger certain events. So I reckon I can do it in like 3 playthroughs. You could platinum the game. I reckon I'll be able to do it.
Awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to talking to you about that in a couple of weeks' time, maybe or so. We'll see how we go with that one. But, guys, thank you for listening. Holmesy, thank you for joining me again for this.
Pleasure to be here again.
It's always good to do this with you. Hey, guys, this has been Dash and Holmesy Take Your Hearts. This is my co-host, Holmesy, who you can find on Twitter and on Twitch at Holmesy5. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter as well at Dash Gamers. But you can also follow us on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/dashandholmesy, or just go to dashandholmesy.com for now. That'll take you right there. But you can also find us on iTunes, Dash and Holmesy, just search on iTunes and give us a cheeky 5-star rating and review because that sure helps us out. You can also catch our hungry family over at 8bit.net where myself and Holmesy post every 3 weeks. But you can also be sure to check myself and Buddy Watson out on Dash Culture where we dive deep into the world of pop culture every fortnight. Holmesy, this has been fun.
It's been good. I'm glad that we're continuing on with this game as well.
Yeah, are you gonna keep going?
I'm going to do my best to keep going. I found like when I started playing today, it was like as soon as I've done the Kamoshida Palace, I was just like, this is a struggle, man. But I have a very love-hate relationship with this game. So
I love it.
We're going to keep pushing on.
Cool. Hey guys, thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys in 3 weeks. Much love.
Stay hungry.